Hello and welcome to the channel. Weathering the storm in Ersama. Summary. In October 1999, Odisha was struck by a devastating cyclone that claimed thousands of lives and destroyed villages. Prashant, a young man, was caught in the storm while visiting a friend in Ersama. For 2 days, he and his friend's family took refuge on the roof of their house, which was damaged by fallen trees. During this time, Prashant feared for the safety of his own family, wondering if they had survived the cyclone. After the storm subsided, Prashant embarked on a perilous journey to his village, Kalikudda, through swollen floodwaters. He faced numerous obstacles, including pushing aside floating bodies and navigating flooded streets. Upon reaching his village, he was devastated to find his home destroyed, but relieved to find his maternal grandmother alive at a Red Cross shelter. His family had survived and they reunited in the shelter. However, the situation at the shelter was grim, with many lives lost and food in short supply. Despite the dire consequences, sorry, Despite the dire circumstances, Prashant stepped off as a leader, organizing efforts to procure rice from a merchant and organizing volunteers to clean the shelter. His group also worked to communicate with military helicopters, ensuring that food aid reached the shelter. As time passed, Prashant focused on helping the orphaned children and widows in his village. He set up shelters for the children, organized sports events to lift their spirits, and advocated for community based care for orphans and widows instead of institutional care. 6 months later, Prashant had healed emotionally by helping others, becoming a source of support and hope for the grieving members of his community. The story highlights Prashant's resilience, leadership, and selflessness in the face of unimaginable loss and destruction. Now, in details. In October 1999, a deadly cyclone hit the coastal region of Odisha, causing massive destruction and loss of life. Prashant, a young man, was in Ersama, a small town, visiting a friend. On the night of 27 October, a powerful storm hit with violent winds and heavy rain. The wind speed reached 350 km per hour and it uprooted trees and caused huge damage. Prashant and his friend's family had to take refuge on the roof of their house to escape the rising flood waters. For 2 days, they stayed on the roof, freezing in the cold and constant rain. Prashant was terrified and worried about his own family, wondering if they had survived the cyclone. When the rain finally stopped, he decided to go back to his village, Kalikudda, to find out. It was a dangerous journey through waist deep floodwaters, and Prashant used to stick to find the road. Along the way, he saw many bodies of people and animals that had been swept away by the flood. When Prashant reached his village, he was heartbroken to see that his home had been destroyed. However, he found his grandmother alive in a Red Cross shelter. Soon, the rest of the family also gathered around him, and they were all relieved to see him safe. Despite the difficult situation, with many people hungry and injured, Prashant decided to help. Prashant became the leader of his village and organized a group to get rice from the local merchant. They managed to bring food back to the shelter where everyone had been surviving on very little food. Prashant also helped clean the shelter, remove dead bodies, and care for the injured. As days passed, Prashant noticed that many children had lost their parents and women were grieving the loss of their husbands. He helped organize activities to keep the children occupied, like cricket matches, and persuaded the women to join a work program to earn food. Prashant and his team resisted the idea of putting the orphans and widows in institutions because they felt that they would be lonely and unloved. Instead, they wanted to resettle orphans with foster families within the community. 6 months later, Prashant had helped his family recover from the storm. Though he had lost much, his own pain healed because he had focused on helping others. The widows and children of the village looked to him for support, and he became a source of hope for them in their darkest moments. Prashant's selfless actions and leadership helped the village rebuild after the cyclone. Thank you very much.